Hi, Not So Irish Travelers. It's Olivia.
It's Eric.
And we are coming to you
from Disneyland Paris.
We made it, you guys. Bucket list trip for sure.
We're staying at the Disneyland Hotel.
Like the actual official one. That's very similar to the Grand Floridian, from what we understand.
But a lot smaller.
Very much smaller, and it's delightful. It is. We'll be posting pictures very soon. Gorgeous. Like, doesn't even do it justice. So we were staying at this hotel for 2 nights, and then we're going to move over to the Art of Marvel New York Hotel. Yeah, really looking forward to it so far. Yeah. We've been here almost a little over 24 hours now. We're pretty exhausted.
It was a long flight.
It was a long flight, and it was a long night last night. We were supposed to go to a show. We passed out. We fell asleep. That didn't happen. And then we woke up at 11 o'clock at night.
Yep.
And proceeded to walk.
11:30.
Proceeded to walk over to McDonald's in the downtown Disney district, because that was open till 1. So that's what was
It's one of the only 2 places that were open last night. The others was a place called Billy Bob's. It was a country line dancing saloon.
It wasn't.
It was a very interesting event going on.
Yeah, it was more of like a discotheque, and it wasn't anywhere that we wanted food. So anyway, so we got our French McDonald's, because that's what you do, and we came back to the hotel.
When you're jet lagged in Paris, in Disneyland, you go to McDonald's at midnight. It's just what you do.
So anyway, but we had tours planned for today, so we made sure we took a nap and got up, and our tour that we did, that we were both looking forward to. Anytime we you guys have seen a few of them, when we travel, we like to do a food tour in each of the cities that we go to, or any new state, or in this case country, that we go to kind of learn a little bit more about the area.
You can find so much more from food than anything else you do in a city or country. It's the best way to learn about culture
yeah.
And just the city itself, because every story is told through food.
Especially ours.
Ours always revolves around food.
Always revolves around food. So we did this tour. I booked it through one of my tour companies, but it was through a company called Paris Original Food Tours. And we had the honor of going with Catherine today. And it was supposed to just be a small group.
Hashtag Catherine.
What?
Hashtag Catherine.
Wow. A small group, meaning like 6 or so people typically. There was one other group that was supposed to be there. Sadly, they canceled. So we got ourselves a private tour, which was great for us. Sad phenomenal. For that other couple that apparently got sick. So more benefit for us. I think we ended up seeing more and doing a lot more today in our tour. Ended up being, I thought it was only supposed to be like an hour tour. I think we...
Probably 2.5, almost 3 hours.
Almost 3 hours, but it was fantastic. Like, it flew by. It wasn't anything that we're like, why are we still hanging out with Catherine? Why are we still doing this?
We went to more shops than she would probably normally go to.
Yeah.
It was very, very good tour.
So we're going to kind of take you through where we went and why we either recommend or don't, and what we saw, kind of along the way. We won't go into like a whole bunch of detail on some of it, just because, it's just a little video. We don't want to bore you completely, and feel free, add comments, ask us questions. We're happy to give you the information, the website. We even got a nice little QR code that if you're going to Paris anytime soon, or in the next, I think she said it was good for a year, nice little discount code. You can get a discount on the tour.
So, all right.
So first off, where'd we go?
We went to Chapon La Chocolatier.
We're saying that terribly wrong. We're sure of it.
I just butchered that.
Sure of it.
It was amazing.
It was a place that they source all of their cacao beans from south of the equator, and then they bring them to Paris and roast them and process
all of the chocolate and the cacao internally, and then they produce all of their mousse is what they're known for. It's what we had when we were there.
They had little bonbons and chocolate bars that look delicious, but they are known for their mousse.
They sell out daily, so you got to order it ahead, and it looks like an ice cream cone of chocolate.
Yeah, it was a big paper cup that she just literally, like 2 scoops, like in there, and wow.
Of delicious chocolate mousse.
Mine was okay.
I
picked
had
the wrong one.
I had 75% chocolate with milk chocolate.
I didn't think his had milk chocolate, which is why I didn't order that one. I picked the one that was 100%
Dark chocolate.
dark chocolate, but I picked it because it was mixed with an almond milk, so I thought it would make it a little like
Take the bitterness away, and it did a little bit.
And they said it was creamier, so I was like, well, that's obviously what I want. It was very thick.
It was very thick. Yeah,
it reminded me
definitely a thick
like of more of a spread. It was delicious, but
you ate it with a spoon.
A wooden spoon. It was a flat, like it reminded me of like a old school tongue depressor. Like,
That's good example of it.
It had like a little caveat thing, so you'd just be like, yep.
I ate mine in about 3 seconds.
Yeah. Catherine was very, I think she was mortified at that point. She was like, oh God, like.
She's like, are you done already? I'm like, oh yeah.
Like we hadn't even left the shop and she was like throwing it away. And I was like, I had like 1 bite because mine was so rich. And he's like, yeah, I'm done. I'm like, well, thanks for letting me try it. Like I did get to try it, but like literally if he could have licked the paper cup, I think he probably would have.
I totally would have. It was delicious.
Either way. So that was our first stop. And so I think at that point, again, Catherine probably knew, let's do this.
She was in for some trouble.
Let's do this. So then we went to this next little chocolate shop that, first off, look at this bag. Yes, we bought this bag. It is backwards for sure, but Pierre Marcolini, and she say he's like half French, half Italian, but they weren't gonna like hold that against him. And quite honestly, you shouldn't, because these chocolates.
And it's interesting because the way that he buys his chocolate and the way that he supports the growers of the cacao is he pays above market price, and he expects quality from his producers, and he pays for it. So with that, you get these beautiful chocolates.
Can you see that? This is what we tried. This right here. It is a white chocolate and milk chocolate with raspberry filling.
They're so smooth.
Beyond creamy. Like, honestly, I can't even say melt in your mouth because I don't think it even did that.
I feel like I can maybe snap this in part.
I don't think you
can. I cannot.
Because it's tempered so well.
It's
literally just
perfectly
snaps,
tempered.
as you would expect. But so we got this little souvenir chocolate thing that will probably be gone before we leave Paris for sure.
That's gonna be gone quick.
But that was roughly $10.
This was $14.
Okay, $14 he paid. I bought it because I don't know why you're bothering to do that. Because one of them apparently has a champagne one in it, and
she has become
Win in Paris.
She's been accustomed to champagne.
So that was our second stop, and definitely I loved that one. What was stop number 3?
We went to a place called Madison George.
Also, we're probably way wrong on that one, but it was a letter G on the outside of the building.
This place was amazing. Okay, it had these little, I want to say they were like a cronut mixed with a cake.
With jam.
And
it was like a cinnamon roll, but cronut style.
And it was made from the layered pastries. And I had orange.
I ate raspberry. I chose wrong.
I chose right.
The orange is delicious.
Again. One of these days she'll realize. Stick with the fat kid.
No. So the goal throughout this entire journey was that we were both going to try something different. So that way we made sure that we could each try something different. It wasn't like we're like, oh yeah, let's both get the same thing and then be boring. Like, no, we're learning new things. So That was delicious. They made some amazing chocolate sculptures that literally will blow your mind. Again,
I'll
we'll
add
post them
some
later.
posts
We got
to
some
this
video
one.
of some of that too, but that was amazing. And that was a nice, because it wasn't chocolate and it was more of an actual pastry. Like
It was
that
very
was a nice,
sticky.
super sticky. But it was a really good kind of balance. So next came, I think, one of my favorite places. Went to Pierre
Again,
Hermé.
this bag is phenomenal.
Here we got introduced to the French macaron. This is their
It came in this nice little tin,
it didn't come in the nice tin. We bought in the nice little tin.
and then you can see the macaroons. Look at those macaroons.
Delicious. You got a passion fruit one.
We got
for a bunch of different
vanilla,
Madagascar.
Madagascar vanilla. We've got a raspberry one in here.
Did you get the raspberry?
I did get the raspberry. Yep.
Cool. That'd be fun. The one that I tried while we were there was a chili
Mango lime.
Yeah, mango lime. That was really good. And what was yours?
I was a chocolate passion fruit.
And then we also got a drink while we were at that one, a hot drink, which was much needed because today was pretty blustery. It was pretty cold this morning. And I just went with a chai latte because you can't go wrong with that.
Okay. I, on the other hand, had real hot chocolate. This wasn't no cut with milk chocolate. This was a vat of chocolate spinning into liquid form and being poured into a cup.
Yeah.
It was delicious. You could taste every part of the chocolate.
It was very bitter. It was as if my mousse was liquefied.
That's a good example of what it was.
Not,
It was very warm. It was very delicious.
again, and that's good. I'm glad he enjoyed it. So that was a fun little change of pace. Then so now we've been to what, 4 places?
Yeah.
5 places. 1, 2,
4.
3, 4 places. And it's all in the span of an hour. So then we went down this old, like centuries old street that she's like, hey, you want to see this? And we're like, yes.
It was covered, like, it looked like something out of medieval times.
It was cobblestone and the street was like this,
Yeah, it was like a full angle.
like full angle, and then the shop on this side, cafes on the other side for the most part. And it was the width from where his elbow is
My elbow.
to basically where my elbow is over here. Like that was about the width of this street.
It was really tiny.
It was really, really tiny. But we walked up to it and Catherine, bless her heart, was like, okay, after all that sweet stuff, she's like, do you guys like olive oil and vinegar? And we just looked at each other and we're like, not really. Like,
We were like anti this shop
we're
by this
like,
point.
no.
We're like, we don't want to go in.
We can miss it. She's like, are you sure? It's a
It's
really
like,
cool
I've got
little
2
shop.
options. I've got 2 options for you. And I'm like, what's option 2? She's like, let's go here.
She's
anyway.
like, we're still gonna go in the shop. So we went in the shop.
It was
The best place.
It was probably our favorite out of all of the places that we went to.
Brémondeville.
We have his flyer.
They source out of Provence, France, and everything is done in house. It's all, I want to say, in like organic. It is all. The one thing we tried was, it's all backwards. Nobody's gonna be able to see that. We'll take a picture and post it. We tried it was almost like a mousse, but it's a spread, and it had 4 ingredients. That was it, and they were all things that you could easily name. And it was pistachio with a little bit of olive oil, which again we were like, eh.
You could not even taste the olive oil.
And there was like, I want to say vanilla and something else in there too, but it was like the creamiest Dang it.
I hate pistachio. It is my least favorite of all of the nuts. And this tasted so creamy, and it almost tasted like chocolate. It was really weird.
Yes, it had that sweetness to it, but it was the consistency of like a peanut butter spread, but like chunky peanut butter. But it was chunky pistachio butter, like lack of a better. Anyway, so I don't really want to open these because we have to still take them through. But this is an idea. This one, he called it "Forget About Nutella."
And I go.
Because this is all, yeah.
Nutella is one of my favorite things to put on just about anything.
Hazelnut, cocoa, and salt spread. That is what is in here.
4 ingredients. This was delicious. This lemon curd might be the best thing I ever ate.
Somebody is not normally a lemon curd fan, and I absolutely love lemon curd, and I love lemon in general. Real deal. And they use a honey in with that.
Yes.
And their honey they get from the specific bees that hang out, and they get their pollen from the lemon trees.
So they have a lemon orchard, and then they have bees that only go around that lemon orchard.
Or so they say.
Or so they say.
They might have a wandering bee here and there.
Yeah, I mean, no
Who
one's going to control
doesn't?
the bees.
Who doesn't?
But they pollinate all of their lemon trees with these bees, and it brings it back to the hive, and they collect all the honey and make it this delicious deliciousness.
Cream of lemon curd. It was the best thing in there. So it's honey, and then there's a little slice of lemon in here, and that's it. Like, again, simple.
You can taste the lemon curd so well.
Delicious. Like, and I kept asking him, well, what do you put it on? Is this something that like goes on toast? Is this something like for any of these spreads that we tried? And he says, well, literally you're eating it as you would eat it. And again, little
spoon,
like little tongue depressor style type things for us to try these. And so I'm like, well, I don't know. He goes, put it on ice cream, put it on yogurt, put it on your finger is one of the things he said. We're like, yes, sir, we can do that. So I think that ended up being one of our favorite shops. So next stop, we went and they were meringues.
So this bag does not do this place justice.
This is their logo.
But this had the brioche bread in it.
Yes, I bought a little small bag of one brioche. It just came out of the oven, and he had just put butter on it, and I said, one, please. And it's gone because it was delicious.
These are what we had there.
They were little meringues that they are famously known for, and they are not like hard. They were sticky.
It like melted.
Yeah.
It took me 1.5 bites. I took 1 bite, and then the rest of it just kind of fell in my mouth.
Yeah. I mean, they were good size, but and again, they were delicious. Lots of different flavors of them.
I had cherry.
I went with caramel.
It was delicious. She didn't get a taste of that one.
I didn't want a taste of that one.
But yeah, it was very much a really nice flavor when it came. I'm not a huge meringue fan, but this was
I'm
very
surprised
clean.
you went for it and tried it. So
and it's interesting the way she kind of explained it. They make the meringue with the egg whites,
and then the yolks go to the brioche.
Yolks go to brioche. So it's really yin and yang of the egg being used, so nothing goes to waste.
And then we went to another cafe that we learned a little bit more about baguettes. And at that restaurant, we had an eclair.
It was very much a completely filled eclair. The interesting thing about it is it was very dark chocolate.
Yeah,
The cream was a very dark chocolate cream. The top was a dark chocolate with some sea salt on it. And I could kill an eclair like nobody's business.
yeah, that's one of his favorite like go-to desserts. I had one bite and I was like, I'm good.
I finished hers.
Yeah.
And I finished
Well, we shared it.
half of mine, and it was
Catherine
delicious.
pulled out her little sharing knife, and
Yeah. It was the
which I'm glad she asked, because she's like, "Do you guys mind sharing?" And we're like, "No." Like at this point, again, pretty full off of everything else, because that was stop number 6.
Yep.
Or were we on 7? I lost count. Anyways,
Again, we ended up going through all neighborhood 6 and close to neighborhood 7.
pretty close.
There are numbers that we found out of each one of these neighborhoods so that they can roughly understand the size.
They're called districts, and I'm
The
sure
districts.
that'll confuse the living F out of anybody who didn't see or understand. So, and we stopped at another, all of these, again, mom and pop little shops. Maison de
The Rocks.
Leroux.
The Rocks. And this one we had chocolates.
Yes, they're known for their chocolates and they're known for their caramels, which we each got a chocolate, which mine was a chocolate with pistachio and almond, and you had a actual caramel.
Yeah,
like a
I
milk
had
chocolate
milk
caramel.
chocolate with caramel creme.
And then we each got to try a caramel, and we tried their just original, which was a butter base with had nuts in it also, but it was, I think they were hazelnuts.
It was very much a very clean caramel taste.
It wasn't very sugary.
Very simplistic, but very powerful. It was made with whiskey. They have their own house whiskey.
They do, but that's not one of the ones we picked.
Oh, okay.
That was the only time that we picked the same thing, which again,
But we picked up these little jelly gems for tasting.
they're fruit gelees.
I'm a huge fan of a gelée filling, and I'm hoping that these are great. I have not tried them yet, so they will be quite delicious. I can already tell.
We paid €3 for them, so
So we will see.
we will see. All right, and then we made one last stop, which again was a shop that we were like, I don't know about this.
What an experience, though.
It was really cool, and our favorite thing about it, other than the bag, because the bag is
This
really
bag,
amazing.
let me tell you.
It's another spread that Catherine told us they mix, again, all natural ingredients with fruit or vegetables with flowers. Tell me I sold that to you, because it didn't sell me.
It didn't sell us.
We literally walked in there like, are we done yet?
We were ready to go in, be nice to know you, and walk out.
Yeah, we're like, okay, that's great. But what was cool is they did a blind tasting of 4 different spreads,
Jams.
basically. And she had us guess what, she told us fruit. And then she said, well, is there a flower or is there a nut or what was it?
She would tell you the 2 ingredients you were supposed to guess. And we did pretty good on them, actually.
A clue for the most part. So, yeah. So we ended up with a couple of those.
We got a Coco Citron, which we didn't try. That's going to be a surprise, a mystery flavor.
That would be mystery flavor. We were told it's
But
a very
this one was
coconut.
our favorite across the board.
Mm-hmm.
This is a mango passion vanilla.
You can see the vanilla bean in it, and it's delicious.
It was by far a very shocking flavor. And
Not shocking bad.
no, it was surprisingly good.
Again, tongue depressor. a little bit of lollipop on there.
One thing I could say is that every place charges for the bag. So if you do need to carry a bag,
And quite frankly, who wouldn't? Because that's great. we walked
It was
around.
90 cents. It wasn't a huge cost, but it was much nicer to have the bag than to not have the bag.
And so we did that 2-hour tour, and then we had a little break. And so taking the train and then doing another almost 3-hour tour, and nothing broke. We didn't have to worry about that. So that was fantastic. But all in all, I even afterwards too, as we were walking back to the meeting point, we stopped at we met up right across from the oldest church in Paris.
The Abbey of Saint Germain des Prés.
It has been destroyed numerous times, apparently, in its existence, and is
got slowly shrunk down into just the one main cathedral building, or the abbey.
Yeah, she walked us through there and was so sweet about it. She didn't have to do that at all, but she was so nice about it to translate some of the signs and to help us understand. And then there was a christening that was going in as we were leaving, which was really cool to see, the family members come in. And the interesting thing about it, though, is that main mass that happens once a week is done in Spanish, not in French. There is a very small chapel off to the side that you walk into this ginormous cathedral, and you're like, oh, this is so gorgeous, it's pretty, and it absolutely is. And they're in the process of refurbishing a lot of it. But what has been done and what is still survived, is beautiful. But then you walk into the little area, very quaint, very, again, still beautiful, small little chapel. Well, maybe 100 people could go to worship, and do that in French was kind of mind-boggling to me. Yeah. But that was really, that was my favorite church that we saw today. So, but yeah, that was the Paris food tour. 8-ish stops that we can remember. 1, 2, 3.
A lot of things to show and a lot of great suggestions.
And I certainly didn't leave hungry.
No.
And I didn't leave with a sense of, oh, why did we do this? I mean...
And though there was a lot of walking, because you did go pretty much throughout the entire district.
I think you got your steps in fully before we left that.
Yeah, I was totally locked in on my steps before we finished the tour.
Had his circle completed before we were done with that tour. So everything else was bonus after that. So yeah, nothing was heavy like that you felt that you had to do something, or she did ask ahead of time if we had allergies, which we're fortunate enough that we're pretty minimal in the food allergy realm.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a wonderful tour. Highly recommend it. If you want more information, put comments in there. It is one that I sell, or I can help push you that direction. Again, discount codes that Catherine gave us to kind of help push that along as well if you're interested. And yeah, just can't recommend it enough. So it was a good time. I even took the train to get there.
I was supposed to say,
this bougie girl don't do trains.
I thought it was fun.
It was a good time. It's to get to Paris proper from Disneyland. FYI for anybody who doesn't know this, it's roughly about an hour.
Yep.
And that's an hour by train, and by car it can be an hour or longer. So we took the train. It's definitely the most cost-effective way to do it.
Yeah, roughly on Uber, it was going to be anywhere from 87 to 90 euros.
Each way. So
for the entire week plus today, because today is, as filming this, it's Sunday. So we bought today and the rest of next week to use the train whenever we needed to for the same price as one trip into Paris. So
for both tickets.
So
that was well worth it. And it was for us, Google Map did excellent. It helped count down the stops. Told us, okay, you have to get off the train here and transfer, so it's going to be this many steps to get to there.
And really easy to use.
Super easy.
Really solid pass. Yeah. I felt bad for the service attendant. She did not speak English, so we got through it.
She did good. We
She
understood.
did really well.
And we only had one hiccup when we were leaving City Center where the machine was broken. And so it was literally that sound. We kept
But
trying.
everyone had it, so
Yeah, as we kept
they
trying to
opened the
get
side
through.
gate and everyone just kind of
Everyone just
bolted
rushed
through.
Free train ride.
Go to the train.
Good luck getting out, but free train ride. So anyway, that was our first full day Paris adventure. So tomorrow we're actually going to be, we did go into Disneyland Paris yesterday and walked around while we were waiting for our hotel room. Tomorrow we're going to do the Hollywood Studios and actually probably ride some rides and get into our full Disney side here. So excited for that.
Look for some posts there.
Yeah. So sorry this ended up being a little bit of a longer video, but we had lots to tell you and we're super excited about it. So hope everyone's good. We'll see you on the next one.
Now it's off to the next adventure.
All right. Bye now, Savage Travelers.